15 minutes, that's way too long for a YouTube video. No one watches videos over 15 minutes.
No, barely watch 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's
I watch a lot of YouTube though. It's like my main, and maybe we're just a few years ahead because everybody's just, I don't know, but it's my main way of entertainment when I'm out and about. I'm not putting on Netflix, or maybe when I'm eating at lunch, I'll watch a Netflix or I'll watch a HBO Max.
Now, when I'm working, I like to put on like old school playthroughs of like SNES games and whatnot that I used to play when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it's nice background noise. Especially if it's something like Secret of Mana that just has that awesome fucking soundtrack.
for sure. Oh man, all the old school games, they had such good soundtracks, dude.
No, I think SNES like really outclassed themselves, like from a certain standpoint in that era. I know there's a lot of like Genesis stuff, but like SNES really had some of the best music from like Donkey Kong Country, Super Mario World. Like Super Mario actually, believe it or not, like my first memory as a 4-year-old that I can think all the way back was the athletic song, the second level in Super Mario, where it's like the spinning wheel thing and you have to jump. And that was like my first memory was playing that game. So it has like a special place in my heart. Yeah, but even the Donkey Kong Country music is incredible.
Man, I don't have the same level of love for Donkey Kong that like a lot of people do. I don't know. They were all right, but like just I guess I wasn't as big into the platformer games as some other people were. I played a lot of like JRPGs with my Super Nintendo.
I only played the first Donkey Kong Country, and I'm not a huge fan of the second and third one. But I know Pucho has played a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, platformers were like my favorite genre, and Donkey Kong Country, they were. I don't know. It's hard to get better than that. Like, and I love all three. I love all three of those games. I think they all have good soundtracks. They all play good. They just feel good to play. It's really fast platforming. Like, if you play quick, but if you take it slow, you could also, my wife's played through, a ton of Donkey Kong as well. So we got the SNES Classic over here. So we've had some dates where we just like pop some wine bottles and just play, SNES games and shit. It's pretty dope.
That's beautiful.
What about Cool Spot? You ever play that one?
What's that?
Do you remember that one? It was sponsored by like 7-Up or something. You just played like this red dot creature, and it was just a platformer game. It was goofy.
I remember really fucking weird.
Or
it had graphics. It reminded me of like Earthworm Jim or something. Like, it looked like painted. I don't know how to describe that. I don't know.
What's the name of the game? Because now it's driving me crazy.
Cool Spot.
Cool Spot.
It was sponsored by 7-Up. There were a few games like that. I remember there was the McDonald's kid, the McKids or something.
Mm-hmm.
That game was
yeah, I don't
that game was another one of the few sponsored games that I can remember.
The only one I remember.
There's that Xbox one, Sneaking. The Burger King game. You don't remember that one?
Never got to play those, man, because it was an Xbox exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I remember the most was the Doom clone that was inside the Chex cereal box. It was like a Chex game that's a Doom clone. And it was the most incredible thing in the world to me that I received this through. And I never fucking ate Chex. I just saw, like, when I looked up as a kid, I said, yo, this shit has a video game. Like, this shit has a PC video game in it. And I was like, fuck it, we're eating Chex this week. As a kid, I was like, I have to take that gamble. I have to see who is actually putting. And it ended up being like, it's just a reskinned version, and they made their own little Doom levels. But it's the most incredible shit in the world. I was like, as a kid, I never got to play Doom. Once again, I was in a very religious family. So that was very I didn't watch Power Rangers till I was like 5, 6, because like my mom wasn't having it. Double Dragon, my mom saw that shit. She was like, turn that shit off. You ain't getting no karate up in here. So we were very sheltered as kids. So we had to sneak that shit around and playing checks. We like, oh, it's just cereal characters, mom. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? It's green ooze. You know what I mean? But it was dope. Especially playing the game Diablo, going over my mom's Diablo. She'll look at another mom and be like, how are you letting your kids play this? This has the devil in it. It was very much like that. I came up in
But
I was the outcast as the family. Once they found out I smoked weed, ese fumando ese diablo,
Now you're the devil.
una fumador. I was like, wow.
but you're
But yeah.
fighting the devil in Diablo though. Like
Yeah.
Right.
Try to-
Warriors of peace, killing to bring peace.
So yeah, I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about originally?
Just video games. You were talking about we were in that moment talking about like sponsored games. So we brought up my kids, the cool spot, checks. There's a Burger King game apparently.
Mm-hmm.
there were a few. There was like I think there was like a go-kart racing one, and then there was like a stealthy one where you had to like sneak around and give people burgers or something. Those games were stupid. I don't remember what the hell the point was.
I wish somebody snuck around and gave me a burger.
Word. Everybody wants that.
Yes,
Like one burger.
Did you play any of those spin-off titles? Anything like that, Tony?
No, not really. Let me see. The only game that I can remember is like Donkey Kong and Bad Fur Day. I fucked with the mainstream games. I didn't really play any of that other shit, to be honest.
Do you have a lot of experience playing like SNES and shit, like older consoles?
I can't really remember, to be honest. Like I remember, I can't name the games off the top of my head. Like I remember the Dreamcast. Like I remember playing the Dreamcast, and it was like this one purple chick that she had like a fucking some type of leotard on or something, and she was just like jumping from spot to spot. It's so vague. Like it's crazy that I remember. I can picture myself playing the game. I just can't remember the name of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So what's like the first like game? Like I guess what like the PS2 era is probably when you remember games. I guess.
Yeah, like Driver and all that. Driver was PS1, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I can remember that.
Driver was fucking awesome, dude. I remember I got stuck on the very first level of Driver because I didn't know what words meant back then. Because I don't know. I got a lot of my reading done while playing like RPGs and shit like that, and I didn't know how to pronounce words because there are a lot of words that I'm not familiar with. And I remember in Driver, the game starts. It gives you like 2 minutes. It's the worst fucking intro to a game that you could imagine. It basically drops you in this like parking garage, and it forces you to do certain things like, you know, drive and come to a full stop, you know, do a 180 turn and do this, do that.
You're doing a driving test.
They'll do
Yeah,
slalom. They'll tell you slalom, but without showing you what that is. And that's where I was always stuck. I was like, what is a slalom?
Yeah. So that's where I got stuck in Driver. I couldn't get out the parking garage because it said do a slalom. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. And they're not giving me an example of what a slalom is. And then, yeah, one of my older cousins, he came over and, right, boom, he did the fucking driving test really quick. And then the rest of the game is phenomenal. And I'm like, holy shit, there's this super cool game that they're hiding behind this fucking driving test that I couldn't pass as a fucking 7 or 8 year old or whatever year this game came out. I don't know, man. I found that as games come out, I kind of miss like those old games. Like they're just so simple. Like you know, you start Donkey Kong, right? You just start the game. It gives you some bullshit story for like 10 seconds, and then you're just running, and then you know what to do. Just run to the right and jump, and don't fall into any holes. And I don't know. And then I feel like oh man, I remember when I got The Witcher 2 on PC, dude. Oh my God! There's like the tutorial. They tell you how every single key on your keyboard does some action, and it overwhelmed me so quick. I just stopped playing the game. I'm like, I can't play this shit.
there are legitimately games that I have started playing and then I got distracted, played something else, and I can't go back and play those games anymore because I don't remember the controls. I don't remember basically I would have to start over again. I'm like, fuck, I'm already 30 hours into this damn game. I'm not gonna go all the way back to the beginning just so I can remember how to play this game again.
Yep. And yeah. Yep. And the only games that I like they feel comfortable really are just like platformers and shooters. They all play the same. So it's like you could always come back to those games. But then when you get these crazy like third person RPGs and shit, they all control different. It's I don't know.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now we definitely need to dig into some of our favorite like old school games at some point. Like
Absolutely.
there's some shit there. Like, man, I can talk about Super Nintendo RPGs all damn day. Like that's where I cut my teeth on gaming. That's what I grew up playing.
That's
Yeah,
your
I'm
niche.
into making lists right now, so I'm super hype. I can have it on paper in my iPad, the official list.
The
And then
official,
my kids,
list.
whoever, I'll upload it to the cloud. My kids can have it. And then when Skynet finally takes over and kills us all, and Amazon, for some reason, starts to package us, the people, to the robots.
Well,
For
What the fuck?
the robots are gonna order someone who loves iPad lists and specifically those specific games on the list. Like, I need that person in my house. Okay.
That's
No.
fucking beast.
Now it's funny, dude. Like when a few years after, like I got the N64. This might have been like 2002 or 3, right? So the PS2 had already come out, and
you had played the shit out of this N64 by then.
oh yeah, for sure. Like, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Super Smash Brothers. I had like Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium.
Mhm.
I mean, to be honest, I didn't really like the N64, dude. Like, there's
I
some
love that
fun
shit.
games that you could play with friends,
I
but
get
like
what you-
beyond, like there's like 10 games. Like beyond those 10 games, for me the console didn't offer much. Like GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, those games are on there, of course.
It revolutionized couch co-op. Like it was the golden age of couch co-op is what the N64 was.
For sure.
Shit was
And we had so
awesome.
many grand times. I feel like that's where, like, when we go back to good memories, we often go back to some of those times. And I feel like that togetherness, friends, getting it just helps. It's like playing online games now, but just like back in the day with one person, you kind of get to know that person better.
Yeah.
Dude, that's why Rock Band and Guitar Hero were so big because they brought back that feeling temporarily for like the current gen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me and Doughboy played. It had to be over 100 hours or so of Rock Band, like easily. Like it was like every day after school we would go and we would just, I'd get out of work, I'd run over to Doey's crib, and it was just we would play Rock Band for hours. It was ridiculous.
Don't forget the in between things you guys ordered from those Parmesan subs and shit from Lake Worth Pizza or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that gave you the energy to fucking zone out for fucking 5 hours straight.
Those were, yeah.
I'm gonna
very
say,
good
man, like I don't know that there was. I bet there were more parties in my early 20s where we played Rock Band than parties where we did not play Rock Band. Like that had to be like a thing. Like even at a drinking night, there'd be like the crew outside smoking cigarettes and people in the backyard, and there was always a crew inside on the fucking couch just over there playing Rock Band at whatever party you went to in my early 20s. Like that was just a thing. That was just the shit that happened.
Sounds like my kind of party. That just sounds awesome.
Facts. But what were you gonna say, Pooch? You were saying
No,
a
I was
story.
saying that like after I had played the shit out of my N64, I'm trying to remember. Man, I don't know what happened to my Super Nintendo, but I don't know. When you grow up in the hood and everybody's fucking broke, anytime you get something new, what happens is your mother gives your old shit to somebody else.
Yep.
So I never had the luxury. Like I see, like I know people that they still have every single console they've ever owned, and it shit is so foreign to me. I don't think I've ever had like 2 generations of consoles at the same time until I think right now I still got a PS3, PS4, and PS5. But it's literally the first time in my whole life, right?
Mhm.
Growing up, it was always like when we got like as soon as I got my Super Nintendo, I don't know what happened to my Nintendo. As soon as that must have been given to somebody in Dominican Republic or something. And then we had a SNES and the Sega together, and then every time we bump up in generation, our fucking old shit would just vanish. And I just remember, like, I had the N64, and like, it was cool, but I was just yearning, like, I just wanted to play like my old Super Nintendo games. And I had this friend Jose who lived in the neighborhood. He said his cousin wants an N64, and or maybe we were hanging out at his cousin's house, and I saw he had a Super Nintendo, and he was playing it, and we were just chatting, and somehow the conversation came up, and we were just like, fuck it, like, why don't we just trade consoles? Like, and I literally trade you, dude. I swear to God, if my mother knew this happened, she would fucking destroy me. Like, that I'm just giving the shit away that she purchased. But I straight up gave him like 3 N64 remotes, like a rumble pack, a memory card, like like a dozen games or so. And dude, this guy gave me like a JanSport like backpack full of SNES cartridges and even games that I had never played until like he gave me those games. I remember like I had this Peter Pan game that was fucking a Hook. It was Hook. That shit was fire, dude. And I had never played that before. He had Illusion of Gaia. That's literally the first time I played it. It was in that fucking book bag. And yeah, I fucking gave this dude my N64, and I just got back a whole bunch of SNES cartridges, 2 remotes, and an SNES. I never owned A Link to the Past. That's literally the first time I owned that game. Like I beat A Link to the Past. Well, I played A Link to the Past with a friend in Dominican Republic. So like that's how I played that game. I had never owned it. I think I might have rented it from my fucking local. We had a bootleg Blockbuster, the Blockbuster of the hood around the corner of my house. It was called Bravo Video. These Dominican people own this place. I'm pretty sure it was $2.50, right? You could rent a game or a movie, maybe even for less, for 24 hours, dude. So I would go to Bravo Video on a Friday and rent like a Super Nintendo game. $2.50, yo. And if you don't bring that shit back Saturday by 7:00, you paying another $2.50, all right? And dude, I played all the games, all my experiences growing up, like all those Super Nintendo games, because we were kind of poor, we couldn't really afford. And these games were so fucking expensive, dude. You want to buy Chrono Trigger? $100. Like, how the fuck was I gonna afford that shit? So yeah, I would go to the Bravo Video, $2.50. Play Donkey Kong Country. I would get that shit and I'd be glued for 24 hours straight. And you'd have to fucking kill me to get me off that shit. I've beaten so many games in that weekend. So getting that book bag full of SNES games, it was incredible for me, just because it was like I was able to own a lot of games that I never got to own. And the dude had a lot of good fucking games. I don't know how he acquired all these games, because I mean, he lived in the hood too, so he was relatively poor. I feel like back in the day, we just used to acquire so many games through like borrowing and stuff. I remember at one point I had like, no lie, like 80 PS2 games, and my mom must have bought me like 3. So I have no fucking idea how I had all these games.
Jesus.
But it was just like people would just give me shit. I remember I went to New York once, and my cousin was just like, yo, I don't like this game. You could have this shit. He gave me Ico, bro. I fucking love that game. And then literally, that's how I went to this dude's house and I saw that game. It was the first time I played it. And I was like,
that's exactly what happened to me with Super Mario RPG. He was like, listen,
love that game, dude.
He's like, I'm done with this. I want you to play it. And I'm like, what is this? And he's like, just play it for me. And he was older than me and I was younger. And I was like, and I came home. It was some church friends. And he's like, yo, your mom's not going to get mad at you. It's just Nintendo characters. You're going to love it. And that's when I started playing Super Mario RPG. And there was a place when I started playing the sunken ship. You have to figure out that password. Dude, that's where my journey stopped for months. And like until one day, one of my mom's boyfriends was on the phone with her. And he says, hi, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm stuck on this game. I need an answer to this clue, this mystery. And I gave it to him. Apparently he had played the game and he's like, pearls? I got it, bro. Happiest day of my fucking life, bro, because I was able to continue playing the game. There was no internet at that time. I didn't fucking know what the fuck to do.
You could have called it that Nintendo hotline, dude. That
Yeah,
one they had.
Yeah, right. Got my ass beat, bro.
Wasn't it a free service?
It used to be free, then they started charging money for it.
Oh wow,
That's
I didn't even wanna
crazy.
try.
What game they released that it was super hard, and so they put up a hotline for free, and then they were like, "Oh shit, we could make some money off this," and they changed it into a by the minute assistance line.
Yeah, but
crazy.
well, I guess, man, this is another beautiful episode of the One Up Podcast. I hope all you guys enjoyed and laughed with us through my pain of the hamsters or the gerbils and shit. And don't think I'm a serial killer, because that's not what I am. Just wanted
Big
to have
shout
fun.
out to Sonic 1 through 3 up in hamster heaven.
Yeah, shout out to them. Shit's terrible. I can't even have told that story. But yeah, this is the One Up Podcast. If you guys haven't already, subscribe and hit that like button. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you.